Hey YouTube, Kira Toy here, bringing you guys my Watt Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for January 2017. This is actually a different take than my past Watt family deck profiles. Today's version is a pure Watt deck. On the other videos, I've used Maw Hunter and Paw Hunter to support the level 4 Watt monsters, but in this profile, I'm doing pure Watt. So let's go ahead and jump right in. If you guys don't know what the Watt deck is, the whole basis of the deck is it involves making direct attacks against your opponent and having it so they cannot attack your monsters, and if they do, there are negative consequences. So it's a really fun deck, very lockdown-ish, but let's go ahead and begin. To start off, the main Watt monster you run is Watt Cobra. You run 3 of him. Most of the Watt monsters can attack your opponent directly, and when Watt Cobra attacks your opponent directly and inflicts damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Watt monster from your deck to your hand. So it sets up all your plays. It's why he has to be run at 3. He's the only Watt monster currently that I do run at 3, just because you do want to get him out very fast, and after you have him out, you'll set up for all your searches. You grab your Watt tuner monsters that you may need, your other Watts like Giraffe, Pheasant, depending on the plays that you need to get off. I also run 2 Watt Giraffe, probably the second most important Watt monster in the deck. Watt Giraffe locks down your opponent. It can attack your opponent directly, and it has 1200 attack, which puts it a little bit more superior than Cobra in that category. But his effect is when it inflicts damage to your opponent by a direct attack, your opponent cannot activate spell, traps, or monster effects until the end phase of this turn. So if you get the direct attack off with Giraffe, you'll be able to do any plays you want come main phase 2, because your opponent won't be able to activate anything until the end phase. So stopping Maxi, trap cards, spell cards, whatever it takes, you can get your field set up how you want, and they can't respond to anything until the end phase. Also, 2 Watt Dragonfly. This card might bump up to 3. If it does, if you want to try 3, I'll tell you we could take out later on in the video. For Watt Dragonfly, if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Watt monster from your deck. So you can get Giraffe, Cobra, anything off this guy, which is what makes him a really good search. I also run Shining Angel in the deck, though, so you have that to go off of as well. Shining Angel can go into Watt Dragonfly, and you can, use Watt Dragonfly and then again to special summon. So it's a long chain of cards that you can go for. But Watt Dragonfly also has card effects, which makes it superior to Shining Angel, which is why I might also bump it up to 3. I also run 2 Watt Hopper, another card that would be bumped up to 3. If I were to run 3 Hopper and 3 Dragonfly, I would take out both the Honest in total, because this deck does not really involve attacking monsters too much, but the Honest are there just to get over big pesky monsters. But like I said, this whole deck mostly can just bypass those monsters and not put them into the equation at all. Watt Hopper creates a lock. Basically, it's called the Hopper lock by a lot of people. Your opponent cannot select another face-up Watt monster and attack target or target with card effects. So if you have 2 Watt Hoppers on the field, it creates the lock, being sure they can't be targeted any Watts, because they lock each other in, and they can't be targeted for attacks, thus creating the Watt Hopper lock. So it's really good. 3 might help just for the fact that you want to get this card on the field, but if they get both blown up, you can either have to recycling batteries them, or you're stuck there and that play is over. And I also run 2 Watt Fox. This is the tuner of the deck. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, your opponent cannot special summon a monster or activate spell trap or other monster card effects for the rest of the turn. Really good. If the fact that they do this, their plays are basically over, and they have to rely on basically nothing else after that. So sets up great, like I said, after main phase 2 setup. And this one's for the rest of the turn, unlike Giraffe, which is just until the end phase. Also, 1 Watt Pheasant. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attacks, it could also attack directly. You select 1 face-up monster on the field, remove it from play until the end phase of the turn. Get rid of Exceed monsters, getting rid of their detach effects, their Exceed materials. Just wanted this card, though. It's good for that one tech, for that situation. Plus, it can also attack directly. It's searchable by Cobra, but any more is really kind of a dead draw, in my opinion. I also run 2 Thunder Seahorse. This card is more search with the deck. It does limit special summoning, but with this deck, special summoning is not too important unless it's on your opponent's turn in the case of Dragonfly and Shining Angel. But you can get off with just a normal summon, direct attack, wait next turn, summon another one, direct attack. So the search by ditching Thunder Seahorse is very good. You can search Watt Cobra, Watt Giraffe, a lot of things with this deck with the level 4. Also running 3 Shining Angels. They destroy by battle and special summon a monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck in face of attack. Gets you any of the Watt monsters that you need. Just can't get the Thunder Seahorses, but literally all the Watt monsters have less than 1500 attack, which means they're all viable searches for Shining Angel, which makes him perfect at 3. Plus, to finish off the monsters, the 2 Honest, like I stated before. 2 targets for coming out for Watt Hopper and Dragonfly, if you wish to run 3 and 3, but still a good card nonetheless to run since they're all light monsters. And that's it for the monsters. We'll move on to spells. I run 3 Pot of Duality. Going back to my not needing to special summon most turns, this card is Search. It gets you cards you need. When I use this card, it goes mostly for back row cards because that's what you're going to use to protect most of your Watt monsters when you're not doing the Hopper lock. So this is Search just to grab what you want for that situation. Also, 3 Messenger of Peace. This card is really good in the deck. Basically, its effect is you must pay 100 life points during each of your standby phases. If you pay this cost, all monsters with an attack 1,500 points or more cannot attack. So, unlike Gravity Bind, which limits levels, this card is just 1,500 and up, which none of your Watt monsters are, so they can still attack directly, but any big monster can't. So my opponent gets really annoyed when I activate one, and then they blow it up. Come next turn, there's another one that they have to deal with. And also, it's just a 100 point cost to keep on the field, which is very doable with this deck. Plus, 1 Soul Charge, just to get more monsters back on the field. I'd love if Soul Charge, you can activate it and attack with those monsters, but sadly you can't. But you do want to get field presence. And even, it's a redo for the Hopper Lock if they're both destroyed. Also, 1 Regeki to clear out their pesky monsters. 2 MST. If you want to run Twin Twister, you can. I like MST just because there are a lot of cards in this deck I don't want to ditch for Twin Twisters, and just these pops are good. But like I said, if I'm going to get a lot of plays off, most of the time Giraffe and Fox will take care of the no activation for that turn. Also, 2 Recycling Batteries to get back my monsters. You target 2 Thunder-type monsters with 1,500 or less attack in your graveyard, add them to your hand. So grab whatever of the Watts you need for the situation with this card. And finish off the spells. I run 1 1-for-1 just so you can special summon your Watt Hopper much easier. Get it out, then normal summon, there's your lock right there. And now for the traps, I run 3 Fiendish Chain. I like Fiendish Chain in the deck basically because you don't really necessarily need to get rid of your opponent's monsters. They're just, even fine if they just sit there. So with Fiendish Chain, you negate the monster effect, because that's one of my worries. If it's a monster effect, that'll get rid of my Watt monsters. But if you Fiendish Chain, monster's stuck there, I don't need to get around it. I can just attack directly. Plus 1 Vanity's Emptiness for the stopping of special summons. Like I said, I do not need to rely on special summons wholly to make this deck work, so I'm fine with that there. Solemn Warning, just for more monster stopping. Also, 2 Wabaku, just for more stalls. If my opponent destroys my Messenger of Peace and I have this card set, I can respond by activating this card, and it'll buy me another turn until I second my next Messenger of Peace. And most of the time, I have this and Messenger of Peace set on the field, and they'll Twin Twister, which means they will pop the Messenger of Peace and the face down, and I'll chain with the Wabaku in response. And to finish off the main deck, I run 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. And now moving on to the extra deck, I run 1 Watt Chimera. This is your synchro that you most of the time go for with the deck. It can also attack your opponent directly, and it's got 1,400 attack, which means it's also unaffected by Messenger of Peace. And when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, place 1 random card from your opponent's hand on the top of the deck. So if they were hoping to get a card to help them, let's say they only have 1 card that does nothing in their hand, I make Watt Cobra, Watt Chimera attack, place it back on the top of the deck, and they're pretty much stuck because nothing they draw is going to help them because it's the 1 card that they got stuck with. And 1 Goyle Guardian, just for the second synchro, since I do run 2 tuners. 2 Paladynamo. This card's really nice. It's a negate effect card plus draw power and reducing monsters attack to 0. All you need is 2 level 4 light monsters to make, which is very easy with this deck. 1 Heartland Draco. Since Messenger of Peace is a face-up spell card, I can make full use of this. Along with 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Dark Rebellion, 1 number 50 Black Ship of Corn, 1 number 103 Ragnar Zero, 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Castell, 1 Steel Swarm Roach, and also 1 number 101 Silent Arc, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Gachi Gantetsu just for the rank 2 plays with some of the level 2 monsters in the deck. I don't want to make rank 1 plays with my Wadhopper. It'd be a very counterproductive play if I did. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. And once again, I'm still taking offers on ideas for deck profiles that you guys want, so please be sure to leave comments down below on decks you'd like to see. And I'll see you guys next time. Kira Twig out.